Today we're going to continue our series about Brethren Brush with Greatness, based on a book that was written back in 2008 by Frank Ramirez. And again, I'm Pastor Len Smith, interim pastor here at Shepherd's Heart Fellowship. One of the possible stories about famous people who had a brush with the brethren are about Abraham Lincoln. Some people believe he had a secret brethren baptism. And it's a bit like the story some of us have heard here and there. There was a fellow who knew a minister named H. Austin Cooper. Years ago, he was pastor of the Pleasant View Church of the Brethren near Burkittsville, Maryland. And Austin Cooper, he had written several books about that congregation. And he was walking down the street in Frederick, Maryland one day, and he saw a box of old books out for the garbage man. Well, he asked if he could have these old books, and he was given permission. And it turned out that one of the books contained the records of an older brother and elder. As he looked at the record, he saw a notation on that date in the 1850s or 1860s. I baptized A.L. at Point of Rocks. Now, Point of Rocks was a community in Frederick County, Maryland. Austin felt certain that this had to be Abraham Lincoln, because the records show that Abe was a congressman in the area around those dates. As a boy in southern Indiana, and a lot of people, they think, well, Abraham Lincoln was born in Kentucky and became famous from Illinois, but he was a Hoosier for many years of his life. But as a boy in southern Indiana, he attended a Baptist church. A little footnote, Teresa and I went to a replica, or I should say a rebuilding of this Baptist church, which is in southern Indiana. And the story goes that he was the sexton or the custodian of that Baptist church. And in the original congregation, he even carved his initials up in the attic, because sometimes I guess he would be resting in the attic. But leaving Indiana, the story about the Burkittsville, Maryland secret baptism of Abe Lincoln by brethren is similar to another one circulated by some brethren who declared that Isaac Billhammer of Rossville or Heath, Indiana, either baptized Lincoln or was acquainted with a minister who did. This version claims that Lincoln met the minister one night near Springfield, that after the baptism in a river, the minister returned home by train, the president promising that he would conform to the order of the church after he completed his term of office. There's still another version of the brethren baptism story that identifies a time of crisis in Abraham Lincoln's life in 1862, when following a breakdown, he was said to have asked the brethren elder D.P. Saylor to baptize him in the Potomac River. Yet another anecdote tells of Lincoln's baptism by the brethren elder George Wolfe. We know that Lincoln was a very religious person. He had a profound knowledge of the Bible, and he could quote God's word at will. We know that brethren were against secret societies at that time and associations, and considered baptism not to be a secret act, but a public one. Also, brethren expected that a person baptized into the brethren faith would conform to the gospel order as they understood at that time, and that ought to include the matter of dress, as well as the brethren objection to war. Throughout the Civil War, Lincoln was clearly pained, but that didn't make him doubt that war was necessary. Thank you for listening to this short story about Brethren Brush with famous people, and of course Abraham Lincoln, our 16th president, was famous. We invite you to worship with us at 10 a.m. here at Shepherd's Heart Fellowship on Sunday morning, or attend any of our 3 adult life application classes at 9 a.m. We hope you have a good day, and stay tuned for next week with more stories about Brethren Brush with Greatness.